Hello, I'm Kent Brockman and this is Ion Springfield. Welcome to Stories from the Gateway. Just over a year ago, I decided to start doing the Gateway Experience, which is an audio program where you listen to binaural beats in order to incite out-of-body experiences. I was initially skeptical, but I like to keep an open mind about these things. The way I see it is, I might not transcend space and time, but I will analyse my own thoughts, feelings and behaviours, and that's always a healthy thing to do. And I have been on an interesting journey with this. Lucid dreaming, dreaming while awake, out of this world moments. I really hope I am actually recording this video right now and not hallucinating it. I talked about these experiences in my Gateway videos and I'll link to those in the comments, but something I found really interesting is that people have shared their Gateway experiences with me. So thank you for sharing with me and others, and today we're going to explore your stories from the Gateway. I'm starting with miscellaneous because it's really hard to structure this video. There is so much to talk about. Plus, the subject matter is off the wall anyway, so why would the structure be typical? I realised that last time I dwelled quite a lot on getting to Focus 10 and what that was like, and I didn't really talk a lot about beyond that, like Focus 12. It was also quite evident that at that point I had never actually read any of Robert Monroe's books. I found the Gateway experience thanks to videos on the internet and I just immediately started contributing to that. But I decided to buy Journeys Out of the Body and I've started reading it and I am absolutely going to make a video about this. It's fascinating. I've already found some stories within it that I find really interesting and I think it's helping me understand the process a bit more. In one of his early experiences, he talked about putting his hand through the floor and described what he could feel there. And he told a doctor about this and told the doctor that he was thinking about cutting a hole in the floor so that he could see if what he felt beneath it was in fact beneath it. And I have a feeling that the doctor had no idea where to go with this because he was just like, yeah, okay. Maybe you should cut a hole in the floor. Why not? 50 cc's of home destruction. Rip up the floorboards. Good luck. Also, this is a second-hand copy and whoever owned it before me has written little notes in the margins, so thank you, stranger. Maybe our consciousnesses will meet one day. Also, since I bought the book, I have been imagining Robert Monroe in my Gateway experiences. He's in the doorway of my mind, so I have this room that's based on the inside of my head and I leave it to go to the Gateway experience. So in the tapes, when he says, go to Focus 10, I'll meet you there, it's like he disappears from the doorway and then I go to Focus 10 and then he's there. And other people have talked about seeing him as well. In my last video, someone mentioned that they were kind of scared of how he looked, so I started diving into what I thought he might look like. And Emma Rafferty said, I think I went to Monroe Institute, was in a large tall room, he was sitting on a low back leather tanned sofa. I had feelings like it was a rocket shape with an elevator in a very tall room. I know it's not part of the out-of-body experience yet, but it is really interesting to me how people perceive this part of the process. Emma's is giving very 60s vibes, and I really like the idea that you're going on a rocket ship. It's like you're ready to go out of this world. But now that I'm taking in other context and other people's experiences, it's beginning to shape my journey a bit. The other thing that I found that's been quite helpful is a workbook. It's full of all the tools you need to do the Gateway experience, but it does warn you on page 1 that you should only use this workbook if you're already deep down the rabbit hole of the program. That's paraphrasing, of course, but it's the gist. But one of my favourite parts is where it covers how to leave the physical body. You can roll out like a log, go up like a stiff pole, back away from your body, go out the head like a gas, or of course, float above the physical body. I'll let you know which one happens to me. In my last video, I talked about how I had a preconceived notion of what an out-of-body experience was. And the funny thing is that the term out-of-body experience was coined by Robert Monroe, so He has the authority on what it is. But I had explored how lucid dreaming had been like an out-of-body experience for me, because I was aware that my body was in one location, but my mind was entertaining that my presence was in another. But Monroe himself and a lot of other people have described the process of astral projection or out-of-body experience as a vibrating feeling, or like a tremor. So like the body is moving and then you're separated from it. I had been fixated on the separation part, but not looking out for the tremors vibrational part. Jeff Garrison commented, yes, experiences are typically subjective, but just like when I astral project or having an OBE, it feels like I'm in an earthquake. My body starts to tremble and shake because I'm conscious when I go to focus 12 and beyond. Christina Diane Monroe, any relation, asked me, when you got well into meditation, did your whole body tingle from head to toe? And other people chimed in to say, yes, it's like full head to toe vibration. Mike Morer said, if you ever feel a strong vibration, like your whole body is vibrating and being electrocuted from the inside out, but it doesn't hurt in any way, know then that you're very close to having a real OBE. Obviously, I want to know what that feels like. And this has got me thinking about the experience in a different way. I think I've experienced vibrations in my head whilst doing this, but not full body. And I'm hoping that once I finish the book, I'll have a bit more understanding and awareness of how to do this. Lots of people shared stories about being transported to other locations and times. And this is largely what I've been doing too whilst listening to the tapes. So if you don't want to pay for Netflix anymore, give this a try. Kay Trout said that the most common experience I have is finding myself being an outsider viewer on random strangers' most mundane activities. These aren't people I've ever seen or met. Some are from other countries. It's typically just conversations about going to the beach or a daughter yelling at her mum for smoking. So this is interesting to me because I feel like I'm always observing conversations from other people that I haven't met, but I do interact with them. I often joke that I have main character syndrome, and it's becoming a bit of a self-read. But I do find it interesting that people visit locations that they've never been to before or see people that they've never met before. Erica Knoll said, mostly always no one I've even met or seen before, or places that are nowhere I've been before. But I somehow navigate them as the places I know and lived. I'm often thrown into some crazy situation and I have no clue what is going on, but I seem to keep it going. Yeah, it's like you're dropped in the deep end and you just go with it. But I have to explore. How is this different from a dream? I dream of new spaces all the time, or familiar spaces, but they look different. You know in Futurama, when Fry plays that musical instrument that creates a visual image? That's kind of what dreams trying to replicate real life are like. My head will be like, here's you making a YouTube video. There's the plant, there's the Scotland map you put up a few videos ago, there's the laser beams, the megaphone you use to speak. This is exactly how your YouTube videos look. But anyway, what does separate this as a gateway-induced experience as opposed to just dreaming? So Emma Rafferty said, I dreamt of an orb floating into my hand. It divided and spun around and I was told this is the moment of conception. Some weeks later, I found out I was 6 weeks pregnant. So that's interesting. And it leads me to... Galactic Adventure said, since doing these, I have had some strange visions or lucid dreams like you. Some of them came true the very next day and or next few days. I think I touched on this last time, that I have dreamt or imagined or seen things that then happen in real life. Recently, I remembered I had a dream about a white room and it had a very unusual layout, and for some reason there was a spreadsheet in the middle of the room. I realised that this is a description of millennial hell, but bear with me. When I recalled this dream, it had been a few weeks since it happened, and I was driving, and for some reason it popped into my head, remember you had that dream about the white room. And I realised in that moment that that was where I was driving to. So the room I was going to was white, and it had the same layout that was quite particular and unusual. And I think the spreadsheet was kind of conceptual because that was something that I was using to do my job. I used a spreadsheet to plot out the scenes of the animation I was working on. I was trying to keep this vague, but whatever, we're past that now. So in my visions, dreams, whatever you want to call them, I also saw a person with a very distinct look, and I realised that I recently met them in real life. In the vision, the person's name was in another language, but it translated as fun. And when I met this person, they made me erupt with laughter. I also met them shortly after having a conversation with someone else about that language. I'm trying really hard to not be specific. I don't want someone to be watching this and being like, am I real? But I'm beginning to wonder if doing the gateway experience is beginning to make me visualize things that are coming up in my life. I honestly never thought that I would entertain the thought of seeing the future. I am so skeptical about that stuff. However, none of what I have imagined and then experienced in real life has been so outrageous that it can't just be my mind knowing what it wants and then me matching real life stuff up with that. I'm also really interested in the theory of the block universe. In the block universe, which is a scientifically proposed theory on time, all time happens at once and time passing is just an illusion. So I'm here now, and you can also say that you are here now. Both things are true, but they mean different things. Because you're not where I am, and you're not in the same moment in time as me. It's a bit hard to explain, as is everything in this video, so I'm gonna let this TikTok do the explaining for me.
Imagine a ball. The ball starts here and it moves over here. That is a normal thing that happens in normal reality. In 4 dimensions, the ball exists as one object made up of all the instances of itself moving through time, like a sausage. Now imagine 2 balls, but the balls are not balls, they are ice cream, and they collide together in the center to make one big ball of ice cream. I can't draw ice cream. In the 4th dimension, the entire act is one 4D object, and so the 2 balls of ice cream actually were connected before they ever collided. They appear separate, but they are connected through time. This is the same with you today, you tomorrow, and you yesterday. You are just one long sausage of yourself extending through time. One object, consistent through time 4-dimensionally.
I don't know if it's the answer, for lack of a better descriptor, but it could explain why I am visualizing things that then happen to me. So Kay Trout also said, I've also been trying to make mental connections to loved ones during my expanded states. I've had good success where I get a text within 30 minutes after. I would love it if I could tap into this part of the out-of-body experience. I would just be out there all the time talking to people. Take me out for ice cream. And I think this is probably one of the most lucrative parts of the out-of-body experience, communicating with people who are not doing the gateway experience. The program does allude that through remote viewing, you can send messages to others. It's not something I've personally experienced yet. So this next one is a bit long-winded, and I'm going to simplify it, but someone on Reddit said that they managed to use an out-of-body experience to erase debt. The gist is that they wanted the debt to be 0, so they manifested that through an out-of-body experience, and then about a month later logged in to pay off their debts, and the balance was at 0. They checked this up with the company and they confirmed that the debt was gone. I could rationalise this and suck all of the fun out of the gateway experience. But let's humour it for a moment. Let's say that the debt really did disappear. This wasn't in the training. There might be a manifesting part that I haven't got to, but this woman has managed to hack computer systems with her mind. And if it turns out that the gateway experience is a gateway to end the plight of capital that grips this world, then I'm all in. So I want to hear more stories from the gateway. I really want to hear what's happening to people and what you see, what you experience when you do it. Hearing about the tremors has given me a bit of insight into what I should really be looking out for when I try to have an out-of-body experience. Hearing about what people see when they go remote viewing, I love hearing about it. I just want to know what you see and what you feel and what you think. And if you can hack into computer systems and erase debt, I want to know about that. So I'm going to be reading through Journeys Out of the Body, and my next video will be all about what I've learned from this and the further changes in my experience. Hey, maybe it won't be a video. Maybe I'll pop by to your mind and tell you myself. And we can get together and haunt people who think it's a cult. See you in your dreams.